Sagittarius rising. Well, first of all, you are the first video I am filming back in my New York apartment. I filmed the fucking rest in Lisbon, and I didn't have time to, I lost my voice, I didn't have time to do the rest, so we're starting with you back here in New York, so congrats, you get that honor. But in this video, your focus for 2022 for the year ahead is self-care, my bitch. Like, self-care. It is an internal time. So if you're excited to dive into what exactly 2022, the year ahead, holds for you and your rising sign, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. Side note, if the scenery, lighting, what I'm wearing, everything changes throughout this, it's because 12 rising sign videos is going to take a couple days to get through since these are pretty extensive. So starting out on Sunday, we're going to see how this goes, but yeah, there's going to be some like cut paste, you know the drill. And if we have not met yet, I am Maren. I am an astrologer that uses traditional Hellenistic Greek techniques, also the tropical zodiac and whole sign houses in order to do the kind of astrology I do. So the way that this is going to go, that it's been divided up, is major periods for your sign, the like eras of 2022, then going through the major important dates for what to hit at the end, so you can be like, this is in my calendar, this is in my schedule, etc. Macro, then micro. Let's get into it. So we start out the year with the major period of what I'm calling the you better work bitch period. It's like getting down to business. For you, it's about physical health. So January 18th, Uranus, planet of innovation and revolutionizing realizations, stations direct in your Taurus 6th house. So you're moving forward with something innovative about physical health or coworkers that you've been working on and you're now ready to upgrade and change. Also January 18th, the North Node enters your 6th house, an indicator of increase, ambition, and working towards. And the South Node enters your 12th house, letting go, less energy, less focus on your 12th house of mental health or spirituality. Now, Venus will also station direct in your Capricorn 2nd house. So Venus in your 2nd house is more money coming your way, likely from November into March when it's there. And Venus stationing direct is finally time for you to be able to be like, okay, I'm fucking going forward with the changes that I'm making in my finances. I'm ready to move forward and get real with that. Jupiter will have newly re-entered your Pisces 4th house as well. So Jupiter, planet of growth and expansion, entered your 4th house of home and family as it was in the summer of 2020. So more growth and expansion on that end. And the Saturn-Uranus square is still pretty exact. So Saturn is in your 3rd house, restriction, more commitment, a little more seriousness regarding your daily routine, holding yourself accountable, or also with your communication, things that you're writing. And Uranus in your 6th house, which we talked about, of suddenness, innovation, or very, innovative events regarding your physical health or coworkers, is going up against that a bit. The crazy time is Pisces into Taurus season, so March into May, which for you is around your home and family life. A lot of planets in your 4th house of home and family in Pisces. And there's a beautiful new moon conjunct Jupiter March 2nd, which is a great new beginning for you to be able to start something new. And Jupiter conjunct Neptune on April 12th is also a very dreamy energy. So it's beautiful, it's confusing, like all that good stuff for you around the March into May time, around home and family matters. And April 29th, there will be a Pluto retrograde starting in your 2nd house, reconsidering deep transformational values that you might have held in your 2nd house of finances. April 30th, there is a partial solar eclipse in your 6th house, a new beginning of massive beginnings and realizations around coworkers, health issues, or even pets maybe. And on May 10th, Jupiter enters your Aries 5th house. So the planet of growth, expansion, and optimism is entering your 5th house of romance, creativity, and children, which is very exciting for the summer period. And on May 16th, there's a lunar eclipse in your 12th house, a letting go of mental health or spirituality that you might be ready to no longer keep focusing on. This summer is a big period of slowing down. There's so many planetary retrogrades. And on June 4th, Saturn will station retrograde in your 3rd house. So rethinking boundaries, restriction, or the really mature seriousness in your 3rd house of communication or siblings. On June 28th, Neptune will station retrograde in your 4th house. So rethinking the idealistic or less realistic aspects of your home and family life. On July 28th, Jupiter will be retrograde in your 5th house. So rethinking the growth, optimism, optimism and exuberance around like dating or kids or art in your life. And on August 24th, Uranus stations retrograde in your 6th house, so rethinking some of the very sudden, very forward-focused adjustments around physical health or coworkers that you might have begun. Now, the end of the year, October onward, is the spooky shit goes down period. And for you, it's around returning back home, basically, like a safe landing back home and like recentering. October 23rd, Saturn will station direct. You're ready to move forward with a new plan around communication or a daily routine in your life. On October 25th, there is a solar eclipse in your 12th house, a new beginning around spiritual matters. October 28th, Jupiter will re-enter retrograde your 4th house of home and family. That's really the grounding time of getting back to basics, back to feeling at home. October 30th, Mars will station retrograde in your Gemini 7th house. Mars retrogrades are rethinking actions and how we get things done, and the 7th house is around one-to-one personal relationships and committed bonds, so it might be a time of rethinking how you're going after a relationship. On November 6th, there's a lunar eclipse in your 6th house, a letting go of physical health or coworker matters. And on November 23rd, Jupiter will be direct in your Pisces 4th house, ready to actively move forward with something around home and family that you've been reconsidering or rethinking. December 3rd, Neptune is then direct in your 4th house, so the dreams and idealism kind of comes back online regarding home and family. And on December 20th, Jupiter firmly enters your Aries 5th house, so the growth of a romantic or creative life does truly set forth for the entrance into 2023. And as for Mercury retrogrades, the first one is January 14th to February 3rd in your 3rd house of communication and your 2nd house of finances. There's one May 10th to June 2nd between your committed relationships in your 7th house and your coworker relationships or your physical health in your 6th house. September 9th to October 2nd, it's in your 11th house of networking and friends and your 10th house of career. And December 29th until January 18th, 2023, there's a Mercury retrograde in your 2nd house of finances. There is a Venus retrograde from December 20th, 2021 to start the year off until January 29th, 2022, also in your 2nd house of finances, so you will be rethinking values around money in your life. There is a Mars retrograde October 30th until January 1st, 2023, rethinking how you go about personal relationships, given this is in your 7th house. There's a Jupiter retrograde, so rethinking growth and optimism, July 28th to November 23rd, between your 5th house of romance and your 4th house of home and family. There's a Saturn retrograde, rethinking boundaries and restrictions in your 3rd house of communication or day-to-day routine and travel. There's a Uranus retrograde, August 24th until January 1st in your 6th house of physical health and coworkers, rethinking the really sudden changes or innovations in that area of your life. There's a Neptune retrograde, so rethinking the idealism from June 28th until December 4th in your 4th house of home and family. And there's a Pluto retrograde, rethinking deep transformation, April 29th to October 8th in your 2nd house of finances and money. The eclipses are between your 6th house, 12th house axis, with the North node in your 6th house of physical health and coworkers, and the South node in your 12th house of spirituality or mental health. April 30th, there is a solar eclipse, a new beginning in your 6th house of coworkers or physical health. May 16th, there is a lunar eclipse, a letting go in your 12th house of spirituality. October 25th, there is a solar eclipse, a new beginning in your 12th house of spirituality and psychology. And November 6th, there's a lunar eclipse, a letting go in your 6th house of physical health or coworkers. So if you have any comments below on how you think that these major themes could be playing out for you, do let me know down below. Would be very interested to hear from you. And I think that all of us with the same rising sign could get a little bit out of seeing how we think each other's lives are going to be playing out for the year ahead. The tarot card that we have for Sag Risings is... we have the 5 of Wands reversed, and the 5 of Wands is a lighthearted battle. It is something of like, if you look at the card itself, it's a bunch of guys that are fighting, and they have they're like wand fighting. And with the reverse, it's kind of like, this is not wanted fighting, this is not play fighting. I'd say that this does look like you are not going to be competing in a positive way with others, so I would avoid competing altogether. That this is time to focus on you, not to compete with others about where they might be. So as always, if you did enjoy this, would appreciate a like, a subscribe, a notification bell, a comment. It all helps. I appreciate it. I look at the comments. I look at who's showing up. I really love it. I hope that you like these videos. Otherwise, take care, and I would say I'll see you next year, but like I'll be making a fucking video tomorrow. So I'll see you in the next one.